I was watching a video yesterday about the Romans weren't amazing, they were just very good at logistics and cared a lot about supply lines. And I was thinking about that this morning because the person was really talking about warfare. And if you take invasion off the table, it makes life a lot easier. But I'm also thinking about you only need a supply line if you're supplying people with food from a place that they are not. In other words, I'm standing near a forest, and if I am aware of the way the forest works, if I know its plants and animals, if I am foraging and hunting or whatever, then I know which plants are edible. I know what I can eat and what I shouldn't eat. But when you take people into a place that they're not from, they don't have that knowledge anymore. And so one of the reasons not to invade is because it takes you out of your sustenance reality. And I was also thinking about, hunting and gathering versus farming, and how a lot of people's do not necessarily what modern Americans would call farming, but would certainly have rows of edible plants, but would also be planting, fruit and nut trees out in the forest so that, there's an abundance of food everywhere. And thinking more about how we think of people and put them into categories. I think there's something to be said for broadening our ideas of these categories and also blending our ideas of these categories. And so when I think about farming, yes, I want to plant squash and I want to have beans and that sort of thing, but I also want to, plant walnut trees in the forest that I rarely visit and rarely harvest walnuts from. And also know that that walnut tree is there in the event that something catastrophic happens to where I am. Hopefully this is making sense to people who are not me.